tell me she got stage fright. I would never believe that she's frightened to be on stage.
So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it, because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes, don't miss it. So guys, tune into the show. Don't miss it, because it's going to be an amazing show. You are going to be touched. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be excited. It's Thursday, 11 o'clock on a Thursday. The Message Talk Show with Alex Gordon. Yes, don't miss it.
Good morning, folks. Good morning, and welcome to the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon, tuning in once again on a Thursday. You know what? Call your friends, call your enemy, call the people you don't like and say, yes, tune into the Message Talk Show, because when you tune into the Message Talk Show, something is going to be said that's going to change your life. Yes, transformation happens when people speak. Transformation happens when people open their mouth and share the thoughts and ideas in their heads. You know what? Sometimes we are devalued by other people. Sometimes people say things that make us feel bad about ourselves. Sometimes people say things that makes us, hide ourselves from society. But today we're talking about how to find your self-worth as a Black woman. And today we've got a very special guest in house. You know what the saying is? Better late than never, isn't it? Yes, better late than never, isn't it?
It is.
How you doing?
Good morning, Alex. I'm good, thank you. It's lovely to have you, to be on here with you. Your energy is amazing. I'm looking forward to a great show.
My energy is amazing. I'm waiting for you to light up the show today, man. Man,
we're going to light up together.
I've been looking forward to this all week. How to find your self-worth as a Black woman, and sometimes we are challenged by what happens in society. We're challenged by our environment. We're challenged by so many things, folks. But today we're going to put some things straight. We're going to get right in there and make it happen. But before we tune into Camille this morning, let me just say one thing to you today. And the one thing I want to say to you today is I need you now to step up your game. Yes, I need the past 12 to 16 months has been very difficult and challenging for a lot of people. We've loved ones have passed, and we haven't yet healed. The healing process hasn't yet been in place because things were delayed, things couldn't happen. But today I'm asking you now, it's time to step up our game and get in the game of life. I know we hadn't left the game of life, but hey, somehow it seems as though things were put on hold. A lot of things were put on hold, but now you're back in the game of life. So in your personal development, in the things that you need to do, conferences you need to go to, you know what? Tune into the show next week, and I'm going to tell you about a certain event that I went to last week on the 23rd of September and how it catapulted my life into another dimension, catapulted me to somewhere I've never been before. But can't tune into the show on next week. Yeah, the first show in October. But here we are today. My goal for you today is to understand where you are at and what you need to do. Okay? And my promise is, by the end of the show, you'll be walking away with at least 3 or 4 action points that you can implement to change your mindset, to change the way you think about yourself, and to totally disregard what some people are saying about you, right? Because you know what? You've got one life to live, and there is no rerun of this life. There is no rerun. Once you're out, you're out. You can't come back and say, hey, you did me bad. No, you can't. So there's no rerun. So today, that's why we have in-house Coach Camille, aka Whyte.
I know, right?
I had to catch myself the other day when I looked at what you sent across to me, and it said Whyte, and then when I looked at LinkedIn and it said Foon, and I'm thinking, my God, I got the names wrong. I got the names wrong. The adverts are wrong. Everything's wrong. That's why I spoke to you. And you said, no problem, Alex. Don't worry about it. You know, I can use whatever name. I said, but what will your husband think? He knows I love him, so it doesn't matter what. Whoa.
Doesn't matter.
He's been bigging you up. He's been bigging you up on social media, man. Yeah, man. He's been bigging you up on social media. Looking forward to the show. So how are you today?
I'm great, and I have to give him props because actually this whole setup is him. The kit, the gear, the kit is all him. So thank you, hubby. Yeah, he doesn't mind a name. What is a name? You know, when you know who you are, I'm his wife. It doesn't matter what my name is. Wait, I'm his wife.
What is a name? Yeah, that's another show. That is another show in itself, right? We'll park that one for another show. What is a name? Hey, so he's your technical director, then I presume.
Well, yes, sort of ish. Yes, voluntarily.
That's amazing.
I'm very well.
So you're okay today. You're wonderful, and you're ready for the show. You're ready to take some action. You're ready. So my first bonus questions to you today, Camille, and I want to take you back to the person who you are, and you're going to talk to my audience and kind of just say who you are, who do you serve, and what got you here.
Right. So who am I? So firstly, I just want to say that I'm a deep thinker, so I'm going to go with that first. So I am a human being who is striving to live really purposefully on this earth. And then above all that, I'm a wife, I'm a mum, you know, I am a friend, I'm a child of God, and I'm an entrepreneur. I love trying out new stuff, setting up new businesses, being creative, exploring options and opportunities that presents themselves to us every day. That's who I am. That makes me very happy. Doesn't always mean everybody understands that, but that's who I am. And who do I serve? Well, I think, you know, it's important to serve. And so I am passionate about enabling and empowering people, especially women, because I'm a woman and I know what it means. The struggle is real. To really grab what they have, to really understand the power within, and to do what seems like the impossible, because it really isn't. It's just about planning. It's just about believing in yourself, and it's just about working to get there. So all my friends, my family, everyone I come into contact with, I try to leave a positive word. I try to empower them to see the possibilities that are out there. So I serve others, particularly women. I try to uplift them and empower them to be whoever they want to be. And what got me here? So, wow, I'm just trying to give you the shortest version of that. I've explained to you in our pre-meet, it's just a journey. Like we all, you know, my background is I'm from Jamaica, you know, childhood wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. But if you are from the Caribbean, or you can identify with people that are from the Caribbean, you know that your upbringing is very set, because actually my mom's generation before that, they just did things for the sake of it. You know, there was a kind of, this is what children do, they're seen and not heard. You know, you grow up, you get a job, you're responsible, you have manners, all these kind of things. So I didn't explore me. But I went on a journey of exploring myself through the, many things we'll talk about throughout the show. And what got me here is the realization that I am great. I can say that. And I want you to understand, I'm great. I love who I am. I have so much value. I have so many things to contribute to society. And what got me here is me believing that. Alex is like,
wow, you're kicking out. You said, I am great. You're already making declarations. And
right,
I'm great.
exactly.
You're awesome. Wow. So let me what particular age group of women do you serve? What particular age group women do you serve?
So I would say the 25 to 45 bracket predominantly. I'm not excluding anyone because age is just a number. So, we can be at whatever stages. But I think 25 to 45, and what I've experienced, and so it's through my experience I help others, is you can become a bit stuck. You can become a bit unsure of yourself. Firstly, you might just be finding yourself. You might have had a challenging childhood. Your teens have not been great. And now you're coming to embrace life and you want to make changes. It can be that you're a bit stuck and then you want to make changes.
Wow.
And it can just be that
either way. You see how you're rearing to go. You just jump into a flow. Then there's no stopping you. There's no stopping you. But before you jump into your flow, let me just say to my fans out there, welcome to the podcast today. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming. It's a podcast. It's a Message Talk Show, and we're at themessagetalkshow.com. So go to themessagetalkshow.com and register, sign up, and tune into the show because we're live right now. And I tell you, if you're even in the replay, go to themessagetalkshow.com and click the subscribe button because I want to see you week after week. And if you can't attend, just come hit me on the replay. I'm not going to chastise you. Yeah, I'm harmless. I'm a nice guy. Yes. Well, as Camille says, she says she's great. So I'm great too. Okay. So Camille, you talked about, you said you're dealing with women 25 to 45 years of old, Black women in particular. So what is a struggle like for Black women? Now let me try to understand that because I'm a man. I grew up. I've got Caribbean parents as well, so I know what you mean. Kids, sit down, hold your mouth, don't say nothing, don't speak, be quiet. Yeah, I grew up in Jamaica. I was born here, but I grew up in the Caribbean, so I understand what you're saying about the way life is and how things are. Even though sometimes I did think at the time my parents weren't as strict, but at the time I did think they were strict. Yeah, at the time I thought they were strict, and years back I'm thinking no, they weren't as strict. And then the cycle repeats. I even hear my own kids saying to me, "Man, you were so strict on us, man. You were so strict on us, man. We got away with nothing." So the last one now is the one who gets away with everything. But hey, so
good for him or her.
What was the struggle like for women? What is the struggle like for women?
So I think, I'm going to try and put everyone in a box, but I think generally as a Black woman, I think the struggles that I've experienced are similar to the struggles we all experience. It's like finding your place, isn't it? Because from a cultural standpoint, as we've been talking about, you grow up with all these kind of limitations already set around you. So for instance, in my own case, it was the expectation of you was nothing creative. So high school, I always give this example. In high school in Jamaica, you could choose a practical to go along with your academic studies. So the idea.
You need to explain what high school is in Jamaica, because we don't use that term in England.
Everyone's secondary school in the UK. Sorry,
yeah.
Culturally, yes, you see. So secondary school which is the equivalent of secondary school in the UK, and so you had to do a practical along with your academic. The aim being that if you weren't very academic, you would leave with a practical skill, and a lot of the parents would be like, "You don't do hairdressing. No, I don't send you to school. I don't pay school fee for hairdressing. No, we don't do home economics. We don't do any of that." It was always the things such as science or woodwork, engineering, and so these limitations presented themselves in many forms because it's sort of like, as a Black woman growing up, it was sort of like, well, you'll only amount to this much. Your expectation is that you'll either get pregnant, you'll either, if you hold a job, it won't be in a senior position. So the expectations people put on you, and then as you grow up, what you sort of to believe about yourself or put on yourself. And then obviously you get to a point where you're in a workplace, and I meet a lot of women, they get to a workplace and they just shrink into a corner of the room. I know people that literally a corner of the room belongs to them. If they were paying rent, it's theirs. And so, you know, and so you become like, these limitations, then they follow you. And as a Black woman, when we start to shrink ourselves, people shrink us, you know. You see people look at you and they see you potentially, but they don't really hear you. They don't recognize the power within you. They don't recognize the value within you. And that's because we're not exuding that.
So when you say they own a space in the corner, they own it. They shrink into the corner and they own it and they stay there. What do you mean by they shrink and own that space?
So, you know, it's the subtlety of the limitations and how people view you. So as a Black woman, for instance, I'm going to say walking into the boardroom, walking into a lot of women, never mind Black women, fear walking into like a boardroom setting. And so you make up your mind that you're not going to say anything, you're not going to do anything, you're just going to sit there and, you know, take it all in. And, you know, you're not even in the room, because as far as you're concerned, well, they're not going to listen to anything you say. You have nothing to add, and therefore you're just going to be a body in this chair until it's over. You're probably either swearing under your breath or, you know, praying under your breath or something under your breath. But and then you adapt that into your workspace. So I work with women that I would say there's a cubicle. They feel they're not valued enough. They feel they haven't got the right skills. They feel they can only do so much. And so therefore they occupy that space because then no one sees them. No light is shine on them. They don't have to step out of their comfort zone, so to speak. And I know it sounds harsh, but we do it. And we do it because, not because we necessarily want to. I think there is a need within everyone to be the best of themselves. But circumstances, the cultural struggles, the limitations put on us, the point that we have to make more effort as a Black woman to stand out, to let our voices be heard. These things sometimes shape us to just dim our light rather than actually be like, no, I'm great and I'm going to let my light shine. Yeah, I'm going to come out that corner because the room is big.
There's loads of people in jobs. There's loads of people in jobs, not because of the skills they have. They haven't got the skill for the job, but they're in the position. Yeah. So it's not their fault why the person hasn't got the right skill. It's not their fault. So why can't that person still shine? Why? What's stopping that person? You know,
limitations, Alex. The limitations we put on. It's the limitations we put on ourselves. It is, and it is a. I'm just going to have a frank discussion with all the viewers now. It is the limitations we put on ourselves, because you can decide if you decide that you have value, and you decide that actually I gravitate towards, I don't know, project management, for example. That is my strength. But in this role, either I've been shifted or I've decided to take a different opportunity to learn about another area, and I'm going to do, should we say, I'm going to do commissioning. That's what I work in, so I'm doing commissioning. But it might not be the right skill set for you, but you can make a decision. Can you embrace that, or can you become the person, oh, she doesn't really know, so, you know, she just hides away. You see what I'm saying? So it's not our fault. It's not about blame. It's about taking ownership.
We can adapt to. We're very adaptable as a people.
Exactly.
We can adapt to certain environments. We can adapt to the situation. So I'm saying why? What specifically is there that's stopping that person coming through, stopping them stepping up into their zone, so to speak, so people can see who they are. Even when you said earlier that, you know, you step into the boardroom and you shrink, man, I'm thinking, wow. So you're in the boardroom, you're not saying anything, and you're kind of being passed over. You're being passed over, but you're there, but you're not present. Why?
I think it's a boldness, it's the confidence, it's the it all comes back to, honestly, I keep saying it, but it all comes back to believing in yourself and your self-worth. Because if you do, and you know you've got something to say, you know you have something to contribute, whether that's work, society, you know, personal life, volunteering, whatever it is, if you believe in the value of yourself and what you have to offer, then you're confident to stand up in any situation. So I think it's an issue of, one, not fully believing in yourself, your capabilities, believing in what you have to offer, believing in your value. And it's two, the boldness and the confidence to say, I have a voice and I'm going to use that voice.
I have a voice and I'm going to use that voice.
And I'm going to use that voice.
Now, the reason why we're being specific today, because we're talking about Black women, all right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about Black women in comparison to any other women out there in secular society, in mainstream society, in corporate society, in everything they do, all right? And
Yeah.
we're talking about the things that block them, the things that stop them from becoming the people that they need to become. But yet still, these are some of the women who it is said that a lot of single parent families are black women have a lot of single parent families, and they are strong characters. They do whatever it takes to make things happen. They hold down the job, they run the family, they run everything else. So if they can do that, there, why is it not able to transfer itself into the corporate boardroom and say, right, I'm going to take this by storm?
I think sometimes we take for granted, because I've been a single mom, I've been there. We take for granted the skills that we do have. We take for granted, motherhood, or if you volunteer, whatever it is you do in your life that enables you to be organized, that you've committed to. These things are not little things. It's like women saying, I have not I haven't worked in 5 years, I've just looked after my kids. Do you know how hard it is to look after your kids every day, to get them fed, watered, get them to school, stop them from literally killing themselves? It is hard. So there are a lot of skills underpinning that. And I think translating what you hold within you, it's achievable if you recognize and understand that those are transferable. All your skills are transferable. If you are good at running an event, for instance, there are lots of Black women, I've met them along the way, they have catering businesses. If you are good at organizing yourself, that's buying the food, prepping, cooking, delivering, you can hold down a job, you can speak in a boardroom, because what you have within you is the ability to plan, to organize, to foresee. You can identify issues and rectify them. Look at all that skills. It can translate in a boardroom. The boardroom is just a place, and I think if we take away the place but focus on what we have to offer, it makes it less intimidating.
Wow. Camille says the boardroom is just a place. You should not be intimidated by the boardroom, regardless of who's in that boardroom. You can own it. It's just a place. Treat it like an event.
And honestly, Alice, to get real, right? I've been in a lot of boardrooms, a lot of different settings, and honestly, there's a game, and you just play the game. People play the game, right? There are people. They're all characters and types of people. People have different personalities. That's just standard. So you'll get the ones in the meetings that always have something to say, even if it's not warranted, or they could find a 5 minutes outside of the meeting. They make their presence felt by saying, right?
That's tactical. They make sure they're heard every time.
Make sure they're heard. Yes. Exactly. So I'm saying to you, be tactical, play the game. Sometimes, I'm not saying just say comment for comment's sake, because I don't ever believe that's the best use of time, but have presence, clarify something, add a solution. You know what I do? And this is basically talking about my faith, but I'm not going to sidetrack fully to that. My faith is very important, and I stand on that for a lot of the bold things that I do. And when I go into a boardroom, under my breath, I'm like, Lord, give me creative ideas and solutions and enable me to execute these. I'm like, you have my tongue, Lord, help me to speak. What do I want to say? So I am commanding before I go in there. I'm affirming before I go in there, because I want them to know that I'm a person of value. I have something to say. I have a voice. Don't shrink in the corner for anyone. No one.
What is it that we fear when we shrink?
I think it's if you shrink into the background, you sort of failure. So you avoid failure. I think that is in part the issue, because if you don't say anything, you don't use your voice, if you don't commit to anything, then there's not an opportunity to can be like, well, Alex, it was you.
Well, I
You
was
said
going to say,
it was wrong.
nobody can blame you. Nobody can
No one can
blame you.
blame you. You know, we
You
run
didn't say
away
anything
from that.
wrong. In fact,
We
you
run
never
away
said
from that.
anything at all.
I work with a lot of people. That's it. They're like, or the other thing is the title thing. Now, the title thing I find fascinating. So people say, well, I'm not the manager. That's what the manager is for. The manager can speak up. The manager can attend the meetings. The manager can assist. The manager. You don't have to have a title to have a voice.
Yeah, but
Don't need a title to have a voice. And
you're worried about
often,
something, though. You're worried about the review that's going to come after this.
you're worried about the review.
Yeah, someone's going to say something.
But we're not perfect. And if you believe in yourself, if you believe that you're doing the best you can at any given time, then even if a mistake is made, you just say, hey, you know what? I'm really sorry. At the time, I viewed the information. This is what presented itself. That's what I shared. But I can go back and update. You can always hold that line. I'll go back and update. I'll go back and review. Let me come back to you on that. We are imperfect people. So that shouldn't stop us. And failing happens whether we do or we don't. Because if you don't do anything, you still somehow fail because you haven't done anything, you haven't achieved anything. And if you do something and you fail, it's only a learning curve. So I think what holds people back, what holds women back, is the thing about taking responsibility. It's being responsible for the thing that's said or done, or just feeling like I haven't got that authority. I don't have the authority. I'm not the manager.
Wow, I haven't got the authority. Wow, that's powerful. I haven't got the authority. And that's a blockage for loads of stuff, because
exactly,
if you then deem yourself for not having the authority, it means that you can use that. Well, you can use that as an excuse for not doing a lot of things. But at the same time, it's blocking your actual progression into anything that you do, especially. So what's been your journey like? How did you overcome some of the blockages? I heard you say how you affirm yourself when you're going to meetings. You call on the greater power that's greater than you.
I do. Yes, I do.
You pull the power in and you go in and right. I'm in my zone. You tell me something today, I'll tell you what. But what helped you to overcome some of the things that we're talking about today in your trajectory to where you were before you became an entrepreneur?
I think so. As we touched base on in the pre-meet. So, the cultural aspect of the expectations, limitations. I was born in Jamaica. I lived there for until I was like 17. It was quite strict. So when I came to UK, I found my freedom, and I sort of took that freedom too far. And I didn't sort of put any emphasis on who I am and what I had within me, the value, and what I want to do with that, and where my life's going to go. So I spent a lot of my 20s partying, looking outward, thinking, nothing's happening for me. This is going wrong.
Normal. Isn't that normal to partying in the 20s? I mean, a lot of youngsters now will go uni. That's all they do.
Well,
is that normal?
I think you can party, but if you have a plan or a direction, that's helpful. If you're literally just partying, that's not helpful, because I think life is about balance. So I wouldn't say I had a balance. I was in a job, it was great. I wouldn't say it's great. I was in a job, it paid well for that time in my life. I was in a relationship that was going down the drain. And I just looked at myself and I thought, but intrinsically, I know the life I want. I can sense it, I can feel it. So I have to do something different. I have to stop, I have to assess, and I have to decide. So I went on this journey of self-discovery, and it was really an awesome time. I used to drop my daughter to nursery, and it was a half an hour walk between work and nursery. And I literally, for a 6-month period, I walked Monday to Friday for that half an hour. I prayed, I refocused, I thought through things, I thought about me, I thought about my heritage, my background, I thought about everything up to the point I was, and I thought about the things I didn't like about that, the things that I couldn't identify with, the things I wanted to change. And then some useful things that I did to get me to this point to get me to own my own future and be in control of it and take authority over my life. And none of those are powerful words, but those are what we need to do as Black women. We need to take control of our lives, and we need to have, use the authority that we have. So I took up a reflective practice, which is very helpful. I journal a lot. It just helps me to tune out the noise. It helps me to, I said to you, I could be having a season where I think, oh, things are not going well. This is how rubbish. I write them all out. This is how rubbish I feel. This is how rubbish things are going. And then I leave that for a few hours, and I come back and I cross it out, and I'm like, no, what are the positives to counteract that? What am I looking to do? What do I need to change? So reflective practice is amazing for me, just in terms of understanding myself, my thinking, and trying to readjust that thinking and that belief in myself. Friends, honestly, I don't know if you've ever, Alex, probably you've heard of the Johari window. That can be like your friends diving into your life, and identifying things that you might not know about yourself, things that are either strengths or weakness that you can improve on, things that will enable you to grow, to personally develop. So I would definitely say having awesome friends around you, friends that you can rely on, friends that will tell you the truth, friends that will encourage and empower you. That is without doubt.
Because before you go to the friends, there was something that you said earlier that, you said you had a job that paid okay. You're in a relationship that wasn't quite all right, but you say you saw the life that you wanted. Yeah, let me paint that picture for me. What does that life look like? Because you in everything that you're doing, you're looking up and thinking, nah, this isn't it. This isn't it. But you saw it. What does that life look like? What did it look like at the time?
Do you know what? People have always said to me, Camille, you're so talented. Camille, you're so intelligent. And I was like, really? I don't feel that. But at the same time, I always...
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, really? Like, really? But this was in my 20s when I was partying. So I wasn't paying attention, Alex. I just was not. I was like, I'm all right. I'm just like every other person, there's nothing special about me. And so when people are saying all this, and I'm really paying attention, but then deep inside me, because as much as there is what we put out, and there's what's in us, that you sometimes can't even express in words. So I think in that moment of my life, there was there were comments and words people were saying over me that I didn't totally buy into. And then there was the intrinsic side or the spiritual side of me thinking, I want more. I want a life that does not consist of me. We have this thing, culture, the Joneses. So, I can't have that because I'm not. Am I allowed to say this? I can't have that because I'm not white. That's for white rich people. That's for it's true. Oh no, we don't go to university. Oh no, we don't become CEOs. We don't, that kind of stuff. So I was like, no, I don't care about any of that. Yes, I'm a Black woman. Yes, I come with all these cultural issues. But what I want is I want to live life fully and purposefully. So how am I going to get that? One, it's not by being in this relationship, because this person does not see things the way I do. That I'm not going to spend my life quibbling with somebody over what I want. No, thank you. And job-wise, I was that person I described. I was in my cubbyhole, Alex. I was in my cubby. I permanently, I had shoes under my desk. I had a spare coat, my cuppa. I was in my cubbyhole. I remember I had a new manager, and she said, so tell me, who's so-and-so and what does so-and-so do? And I said, I have no idea. I just come to work and go home. So that was the space I was in. So you see, when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking truth. I'm speaking from truth, experience and truth. So I was that person. That's where I was in my life. And I just thought, no, I am destined for so much more. I need to, how do I get to the point of believing what people see about me, the positive things they see about me that are being reinforced time and time again? How do I get to that point? And how do I achieve this life that I know I want? I want it. So then I just started to visualize, I visualize myself owning houses, determining whether I want to be a CEO, yes or no, the choice being mine. I just thought you have to spend time visualizing these things and then taking action to help you get there. I hope that answers your question,
But
but
if you think
that's what
about
was
it,
going on for me.
if you think about it, have you ever been to the gym? I mean,
Oh
it's not.
gosh, yeah.
I'm not being personal, but I'm just asking. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. Have
Yeah,
you ever
the
been to the gym?
gym.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have you
yes.
ever been? Have you ever been on those equipment where you have to pull up your body weight?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. And when you pull up, you feel the weight that you're carrying. Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can probably do it once or twice, and the coach is pushing you to go. Okay, let's go 10. All right. You probably just about get to the 10, and then your arms and are aching now, and he says, and he's pushing you more. Please go on, you can do it. You got 10 seconds. What it must have felt something like that, to pull yourself up from where you were, to then push yourself to say, right, I need to change my job. I need to better everything that I need to do. I need to do it. No one's gonna do it for me. Oh, there's a saying, no one's gonna save me. No one's gonna save me. I'm gonna save myself. The pressure must have been great to do, because the reason why I'm saying that to you now, because there's probably a lot of young Black women right now in different situations that they're facing, and they're not sure how to pull themselves up. They're not sure how to do it. They don't think they've got the willpower. They don't think they've got the energy to pull themselves up. And they're quite young, but they've been through almost a life experience in a young age. They've been through so much already. How would you say that they can pull themselves up based on your experience?
I'm going to take your gym analogy, and I'm going to say this, right? I have a love-hate relationship with the gym. And the thing is, people say this exercise is great for you. And it's the same thing with self-help and all the tools that are out there. This is great for you. You should try that. So you're killing yourself to do them pull-ups, but that's not the thing for you, because you're going to either give up halfway, you're not going to recognize the value of it. So the important thing in trying to pull yourself up is to find what works for you. You know, find what works for you, what intrinsically is going to help you to get to where you want to go. And for me, it wasn't that pull-up thing. It wasn't, I don't know. I've seen coaches, and that was great, but it wasn't, say, what shall I say as an example? I didn't, for instance, decide to be qualified or to get any other qualifications. For me, what I decided to do was to take time out. I had reached a place where I couldn't see the wood from the trees. I've just about got the shock realizing I'm in this really grey place and I want to shine brightly. And the only way I could do that was to switch everything off. So for me, it was the process of owning my journey, of reflecting, of spending that time. That was my tool. That helped me to pull myself up. So I'm going to say to you, if you might need a coach. You might need a friend. And when I say a friend, I don't mean a friend that's just going to tell you what you need to hear. You might need to take therapy. You might need to go on a process of journaling. Whatever it is you need to do, you find what works for you. What is realistically going to get you to the place where your light is shining, the place where you feel strengthened, where you feel that courage, where you feel empowered to just live the life you want to live. And there are loads of tools out there, and I'm not going to tell you. I've just given you a few examples. Find what works for you.
The greatest difficulty that we face as human beings, and in terms of in self-help, is that sometimes you don't always recognize what's in front of you.
That's very true.
And it takes someone else to come along and, as the word says, remove the scales from your eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't understand. You can't see the potential. You can't see what's in front of you. All you see is the pit in which you're sitting. You know the Joseph story, yeah? All you see is the pit. It's the hell that you're in. And when you're in hell, deemed hell, when you're in a situation that you think is hell, and you don't feel like I can get out of this, what is the one thing you can do? What is the one thing that you can do? Even it's not autopilot, but what is the one thing you can do when you're in such a deemed position, disastrous position?
I would say the most powerful thing you could do in that position is to reaffirm. So find a quote, a scripture, a comment someone has said to you that resonates with you, something that uplifts your spirit, something that speaks to you. And get in the habit of reaffirming that in front of the mirror 2-3 times a day. Say it to yourself. Keep saying it to yourself. Even if you don't necessarily believe it when you start, keep saying it to yourself. When you affirm things, you are psychologically changing the way you think. So you might not be able to take any action. You might be too wary. You might be too stressed out. There might be so much going on. You're so deep in that place where there's just darkness that you can't physically, mentally, spiritually take any action. You know, like when you used to be the person in church that's jumping up and down and you're giving it all, and when you're in your stress, you can just like whisper a prayer. Sometimes you get like that, but if you haven't got the strength to do, affirm. Because affirm takes, it doesn't require you to have the strength. It doesn't require you to take any decision or do any long-term action. It just requires you to write on a piece of paper or to memorize the thing, but I'll say write it down on a piece of paper. Write down an affirmation that relates to for you for this season. So for instance, I'm entering a new season, and as part of that, I'm on the message show. You know, I'm kickstarting my coaching business, and so I've written an affirmation, and my affirmation is based on a Les Brown quote, philosophy. And at the moment, it sits on my desk, and it says, "Keep your commitments to your commitments."
Ooh.
So that's my affirmation for this season, because there's a lot going on. I feel sometimes we can all feel overwhelmed. You can all feel that we need to be disciplined. There's loads of stuff, but that affirmation keeps me going. So for you listening, watching, if you're in that place, just find an affirmation, a scripture, a positive word, whatever it is, and you tell that to yourself morning, noon, and night. You tell it to yourself until you find the strength to take the next step.
But you see, there is, well, let me just pull you back here, because when you said you're in your new season and you're on the Message Talk Show, and I'm thinking, my God, well, I never knew you were in your new season.
I am.
I just saw you out there and think, hey, this lady seems to be saying something. Let me get her on the show. So, man, isn't that amazing that when you think of something and when you start to take the steps to create a new season in your life, somehow the universe sends you help.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, it was amazing. I have been doing videos, motivational videos, and I do my blog, and I've been doing things on the side in conjunction with work, and I just decided I'm going to fully commit to this. And I started going back onto LinkedIn, and within like 2 weeks you messaged me, and I thought, gosh, this is definitely there's definitely something in this. I'm just grateful. But yeah, that's it. You put yourself out there, an opportunity meets you.
There was something you said earlier, which I want to pull you on, because you mentioned, you know, prayer, faith, word. You mentioned church.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is that people who are of faith and have a church background, it's different for them because they have a reference point that they can pull on. And even if they don't currently believe at the moment in this stage of their lives, they've always got something from childhood or something that was way back in their lives that was taught to them that they can go back and say, okay, let me pull on that. I need something now, and I can pull on that. But what says the person who has no faith whatsoever? What says the person who's never really been brought up in those situations and they have no faith? It's a blank canvas for them, and they're running on their own, and they still feel what do they do?
No. I say, you know, faith is a journey, and yes, you're right. Not everyone gets there. Not everyone believes what, you know, I believe. But what I say is have belief in something. So I know many Christians might disagree with me. It's neither here nor there. But I personally think, you know, I believe in God. I wouldn't say I preach to people to believe in God. I tell people my story, and it's up, you know, it's up to them if they want to kind of give that thought and decide that faith is something they're interested in. But if you're not a spiritual person, you don't believe it, you don't have a faith, believe in something, because a belief in something keeps you grounded. If you believe in the fact that there are, things may seem impossible, but there are no impossibilities, and you stand on that, that can get you far. If you believe that you are made for great things, that can get you far. If you believe that what I need will come to me, that can get you far. But you have believing in something, even yourself, and you should believe in yourself first and foremost.
Woo! Camilla Foon says today, you must believe. You've got to believe in something. Don't walk this earth with with no concern for not believing. You have to hold yourself connected to something. You got to connect yourself to something. It's a thought. It's something that cultivates inside of you, that assures you. Yeah, even when everything else.
It grounds you. It grounds you. Otherwise, you're just like a wanderer, really.
Oh, now you may have answered this question before, but what was life like growing up as a young lady? But let me just switch this one as well, as a young lady, what were you affirming yourself with at the same time?
What was I affirming myself with? Oh my gosh, Alex, I don't think I was affirming myself with anything. I think I was just trying to get through life. I do think, though, there is one thing I remember. I'm going to spring a little surprise on you. So I'm currently writing a book. Got a few chapters down, and it brought me back to a couple of quotes people said over me that drove me. So I wouldn't say maybe I was affirming stuff at that point, but I definitely knew what I was willing to accept and what I was willing to not accept, which is very important. So like growing up, people are like, in my teenage years, I actually remember a family member saying to me, I don't know what your problem is, because all you're going to do is have babies, that kind of thing. You're just going to have babies. You're going to have no life, basically. And that's, there's nothing wrong with having kids young. Some people do, and their life is fine. But I just thought, how dare you? Like, how dare you put that over me? And no, thank you. I am going to determine, my worth and value, and I'm going to determine what I do and don't do with my life. So I've had instances like that. And I don't know, from the pit of my stomach is just the rising up that no one gets to dictate to me what my future looks like. So while I wasn't necessarily affirming anything then, I was quite clear that my life is mine.
Hey, you took ownership.
Ownership, exactly. I even remember, I will say this actually, and we're talking about as a Black woman. So I remember I had a manager who was also a Black lady, and we had a very difficult contract. I work with on contracts, and there were some relationship issues with the supplier. And the supplier decided that they would, instead of resolving it, they would then put it back on us, so to speak. So a colleague of mine, we were both Black. She was from, I think she's from Nigeria, obviously originally from Jamaica. We went out to see the supplier, and a day later, my manager calls me into a room. She messaged me, saying, "Are you free?" I was like, yeah. She's like, "Come, I want to talk to you." And then it was like, I've had some feedback, and I said, "Yeah." And she says, "So you went out and saw the supplier, and they fed back that you were quite aggressive." Which is another word that's associated with us Black ladies. Aggressive. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but my response is, if you want to see aggressive, I'll show you aggressive. But in this situation, when she said that to me, my response, and before I tell you what my response is, I'm going to say this is because by then I had done the whole self-discovery journey. I understood myself and understood my power. So when she says to me, "They fed back you were aggressive," I say to her, "Oh, well, thank you for that, but I choose not to take it. Sorry."
Wow. And
she said, but you can't. I'm your manager." And I said, "Yeah, you are my manager. I respect you as my manager, but you are telling me something that is not true of myself. So, lovely, you've passed their feedback on, but I choose not to accept that."
Wow.
I am not aggressive. everyone around me knows me, and that is not a word that they would use with my name. So it's all right. You can keep that one. Good.
Yeah, you've always been a person who you know what to accept, you know what to receive in your life. And
exactly. It's very important. Very important.
outrightly reject things that you think that are negative, things that are going to put you down, things that are not going to serve you. So you know what serves you as an individual. That's amazing.
Exactly. Perfectly said. And that's what I want. That's what I want for women. That's what I want for Black women, for women that I get in touch with, connect with, whether that's online or in person. You need to understand your power, understand that you have a choice. It's your life. You have authority over it, what you receive and what you don't receive.
Understand your power. You hear that, guys?
Understand your
power. You've got power.
We are powerful. We are powerful.
Let me ask you this. What's been your lowest moment? What's been your lowest moment?
Oh, lowest moment in general, or are we talking about it professionally?
Yeah, in general.
In
I'm
general.
talking life now. What's been your lowest moment?
My lowest moment is probably been I think my family and friends know, so I can say, and it's good to talk about it. My lowest moment is I have a son now who is 17 months old, and so before I had my little Nathaniel, I was trying for a baby with my husband, and I always took it for granted that I could just snap my fingers and be pregnant, you know. And yeah, sure enough, but we that's my power.
Your fingers and be pregnant. Which school did you go to?
Oh my God, that's my power, Alex, my superpower. So that's my superpower. So obviously I did not just snap my fingers, but you get the gist. And so before him, my husband and I, we tried for a baby, and I actually had miscarriages a couple of times. Wow. So I would say within like a 15-month period, I had about 2-year period, I had about 3 miscarriages, which was really sad. And I think the first one really, honestly, it grounded me in such a way that I wasn't even a person I recognized. I wasn't even myself in terms of the positive outlook and the thing. I had the positive outlook, I would say, but in terms of really maintaining the belief that everything is possible, that was really, really hard. I mean, it was crushing to go through that. And obviously, knowing how much we really wanted to have a child. So I'd say that's been my lowest point. And in general, it has been my lowest point, because I think sometimes we can be quite confident in a thing, isn't it? We can be quite confident that deal is going to work out. We can be quite confident the marriage is going to work out. We can be quite confident that the money is going to come.
That's correct.
Yeah. And, sometimes it doesn't, and it just blows us sideways. Sometimes it doesn't, and it really, really challenges our mental health. It challenges what we believe. It challenges who we are. And so, yeah, I think that was definitely one of my, the lowest point for me, a low point. But then it's that thing of, it's the thing I said about affirming. So I practice what I preach. And I held on to a scripture. So after the first miscarriage, I found a scripture that was about my peace. So it wasn't about the outcome, because I couldn't control that. It was more about my peace. And I just recited that to myself again and again and again and again and again. And that would help me no matter what the outcome. I felt peaceful. So, I just want to say, and I know I've shared that, and it is quite a personal share, but it demonstrates that in all things, whether it's good or bad, and they do come challenges. There are things, there are tools, there are methods, there are ways we can stand strong.
Oh, well, let me take you to another extreme here. What has been the best things happen to you?
Oh,
did you make it happen? What's the best thing that ever happened? Did you make it happen?
What's the best thing that ever happened to me, and did I make it happen? Ooh, do you know what? This is going to sound really soppy, But the best thing that ever happened to me was my husband.
Ooh.
And I know it sounds bad, but I'm going to say, oh, Alex, we could have a whole show on this. But I know why I'm going to say this, because I did not think that I'd ever get married. I did not believe in the sanctity of marriage. I've seen
Wow.
too many go a different way. And so my thing was like, oh my gosh. My thing was, I'm not going to have a husband. I'm just going to arrange my wedding day, have photos, have the fun, the experience, and then I go home and I don't have any stress, you know?
Say that again. I'm not going to have a husband. I'm going to arrange a wedding day, take photos. So you're going to marry yourself, take photos, go home, no stress, but there's no husband
stress.
at the end of it.
That was my plan. I was just gonna have the experience, enjoy it, and not have a husband at the end of the day. Because you know, as a Black woman, I'd seen so many marriages fail around me. As a Black woman, I'd seen absent dads, absent husbands. So I was like, that is not my portion. So actually, you know, kind of full 10, 15 years later, the greatest blessing for me is actually the fact that I am married. I am married and I have a wonderful husband.
What changed that then? What changed that thought about just doing it yourself? What changed it?
What changed the thought about doing it myself? The recognition that you can't, that's self-discovery journey, the recognition that I needed to change my mindset and mentality, because I've seen marriages break down around me and absent fathers and absent husbands, that does not have to be my portion. So therefore, I don't have to have that. I can decide what I want to have and work at it, because it is work, but enjoyable work, that you decide to go into a union with somebody and you decide to be vulnerable, you decide to give, you decide to be present, and you decide to make it work.
Wow. Today we've been talking to Camille Whyte, and she's been talking about how to find your self-worth as a Black woman. And she's talked about how you just dig yourself up, how you pull yourself up. She's talked about the boardroom. She's talked about going into the boardroom and being absent. Wow, there's so many things that we as people we do, and so many things we take for granted. But the one thing that she kept stressing is that you have to have some sort of belief in you. Some belief. You need to have belief, you need to affirm, and you need some tools in your cupboard. You need tools in your cupboard to help you. And she talks about journaling. She talks about, you know, the whole thing about journaling and recording your thoughts. Guys, ladies and gentlemen out there, I know you want to hear more. I know, but we're on the end of the show now and the time is up. You know what? And it's been an amazing show. So you know what? There's going to be a part 2, Camille. There's going to be a part 2.
There has to be. It has to be.
But in closing, what would you say be the one you'd like to say to your audience now, 25 to 45 years of age, and as a coach, as a person who's helping women find their self-worth, what is the 1 or 2 things that you'd like to say right now?
So I think the first thing I would like to say is that you have value, right? You have value, and that value is already ingrained to you. You don't have to go and find it anywhere. I mean, as in, you don't have to go and get another qualification. You don't have to go and actively find it. It's in you. You just need to activate it. So I would say activate your value. And if you're not there yet, find the thing that's going to help you get there. So as Alex said, and I'm not just pitching, it might not be me. I do offer coaching services, but it could be any coach. Find a coach, find a mentor, find tools that help you. Activate that value, because once you activate your value, your outlook improves, your opportunities improve, they increase, they just follow you around, because there's so many opportunities waiting out there for you. And also you get a sense of self-worth, of self-identity that no one can take from you.
Well, so, Camille, why not you? Why not you, Camille? You said any other coach. Why not you, Camille? I mean, you're here right now. You're present. You've been talking for the past hour. You're on the stage now, Camille. Why not you?
If I resonate with you, and you are a woman who's struggling to take the next step, you want to break out of a cycle you're in, you want to take authority and ownership of your life, come connect with me. Come connect with me. You can find me on Instagram on Facebook, my website, www.camillefoon.com. You'll see the coaching sessions I do. I've got 1 hour power sessions on there, which is really focused session, and we'll be drilling down into what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and creating a plan for you that's going to help you get there, giving you some tools to underpin that plan, because the aim is that you start to live the life you want. The other thing I offer is career progression. A lot of women, Black women, struggle with selling themselves. You've got so much. So I've got CV writing, interview prep, understanding the recruitment process, everything you need to get you to the job you want. So yeah, connect, get in touch. I want to help.
Wow, Camille, I see you're on TikTok. What have you been doing on TikTok?
I've been exploring doing my videos on TikTok. So I think, you see, my husband just bought me a kit, so I'm going to be ramping up the videos. Really want to reach out to women. So TikTok, Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, you can find me. And as I said, on my website, www.camillefoon.com, you can find me. Let's connect. I'm always up for talking to people.
I was looking for the Vogue picture. I was looking for that Vogue picture. I couldn't find it.
I got it for you, actually, Alex. Look at this. It's not on Insta. This is this hangs in my bedroom.
My God, look at that. Take your pictures. Take your pictures now. Take a screenshot. This is Camille Whyte in the Vogue magazine. Come a bit closer. Come a bit closer.
Can you see? So this hangs on my bedroom wall.
Let me take a screenshot. Let me take a screenshot here. This is you in Vogue, yeah? This is,
well, yes.
In the Vogue, in Vogue.
So what I did, it was recreated for me. So this is one of my Affirming pieces, hangs in my bedroom, and it was done in 2016, and I shall be updating it soon. But every morning I get up, I look at this, and it reaffirms to me what it is I'm trying to do with my life.
Woo!
Amazing.
What she's trying to do with her life, guys. Take a picture. Affirm yourself. Picture where you're going. Picture where you want to see.
One last time. Can you see? Yeah.
Right, it's great. It's wonderful. It's awesome. I shall definitely post this in the when I push out to Instagram. I shall definitely push this out. You know, Camille,
I'll send you
a
proper picture.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'll send you a proper picture.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You know, it's been a pleasant having you here. Before you go, let me just drop in from the sponsor before you disappear. So don't disappear just yet. You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon. I want to sow a thought with you before you go, before you disappear. All right. And the thought I want to share with you is O2, 10,000 people at O2. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
The premier event in the UK, 10,000 people, and a motivational speaker. You're one of the speakers on stage speaking to 10,000 people with the Black Inspirational Speakers Network. Can you see yourself?
I can.
Yes, can you see yourself? Yes. I want to leave that thought with you.
I can see myself there. I can.
We're talking about seeing things now. We're talking about putting things in place. We're talking about helping to change the trajectory of where we are and where we want to get to. So we're putting this out now. We're putting this out there. Hey guys, so ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Camille Foon, aka Whyte. Let me just get that in, yes.
Well done for pronouncing that right.
I want to make sure I've got to be on the best side of your husband. You know, I've got to be on the best side of your husband, you know, so I can't destroy his name. All right. And tune into the Message Talk Show again, guys. Come in again. Come in and get on the show, guys. Get on the show. If you want to get featured on the show, just come on, man, because we're here to inspire. We're here to bring bring you out of yourself. You saw Camilla today. She's awesome. Can you imagine what she's like on stage? Can you imagine what she's like on stage? So tune into the Message Talk Show again, and I will see you next week on the Message Talk Show. We're going to have a special show next week. I need you to tune in on Thursday.
Miss the show. You got to be on the show.